Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Michael Zapsik. I'm from AMC's Comic Book Men, and you're listening to iWalter.
Hi, this is John Carpenter, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Yeah, you know what? It is me. It's iWalter. I had taken a couple of my different people who did promos. Now it's 3 people. Hey, I'm pretty impressed with myself, but it was not easy to do that. But I am. I did get these people to do plugs for my show, which is really cool. By the way, it's really weird, but right now it is like 3 o'clock, so it's the witching hour, and of all things, I'm watching this movie. I don't even know where I put my, here, wait, let me see if I can get this. It's something about the devil. It's like one of these Blair Witch kind of movies. It was 2014, and it's really creepy. So I'm going to check. It's actually on that horror network on, it says Metamorphosis, but it's not. It was the movie before, something with the devil. Again, one of these freaky horror movies, but it's on Horror 24/7. I'm going to go back and see if it corrects itself. Yeah, it does. It's kind of weird, because now there's a movie on called Metamorphosis. It's on that Pluto TV, and it's actually really cool. Just to give you a heads up, by the way, I am trying for an experiment. This is going to be my backup laptop, in case I have any problems like I did that one time with my PC laptop, because I had that problem before when I was doing, Walt Flanagan and those other guys, Mike Zapsik, and who was the other guy? Unfortunately, he had passed away. Mark Costello. Yeah, I mean, I was down there and I did an interview with these guys, and my machine crapped out, so I had to rely on my Mac laptop that is now created some problems. I'm going to give it away. I'm going to try to erase it first before I give it to anybody, and just let them know, listen, you're getting a free computer. It cost me $1,000. I'm giving it away for free. So there better be no complaints about any issues. Yeah, so what was I going to say? I'm just doing this as an experiment to see how this laptop will work, to make sure it doesn't keep on shutting down like it is. I'm trying to think of the right word. So, I have the screensaver on. That's not a good idea. So if this sounds pretty good tonight, it'd be like, okay, this is a good sign. I can actually use this as a backup. I mean, I'm kind of used to using Windows at this point, but yeah, so I don't know. It's just weird. I'm using an Apple laptop. I mean, I have my junker Apple laptop, which it actually isn't junky. I just say it is. But yeah, the thing is, I'm just not too keen on it having enough power to run a show. I mean, it doesn't need that much, but you never know. So, actually what I'm going to do is, I wasn't at first, but they are pretty cheap. They have a decent, laptop. I think I saw one on Amazon that's, 1 terabyte. You don't need more than that, because I barely even use a terabyte as far as doing podcast or anything on, what do you call it? On my like video editing or stuff like that. I don't need that much for my laptop editing, because I do that when I go on vacation stuff. I will go and do a little bit of video editing, or I used to, or do a podcast just to like kind of break up the monotony at nighttime when I'm away somewhere. I know I just repeated myself. So, but it's nice to be able to do this stuff. And, I usually do carry both my PC laptop and my Mac laptop. But again, I want something that's dependable. And actually what I did was I just bought a MacBook Pro that was refurbished. I originally was going to buy it online because it was really, really cheap. And I was like, well, you know what? This sounds too good to be true. And it was, because it's been a nightmare. I said, listen, you know what? I had a change of heart. I'd rather buy it in store where I can buy an extended warranty like from Micro Center. So Micro Center had the same laptop that I was looking at. A little more money, probably a little bit more than a little bit more. But it was refurbished by Micro Center. And they offer like a 2 or 3 year warranty plan. It costs a couple $100, but it's actually worth it because I can bring it right back to the store if I have any issues. So, and I try to explain that to them. They're trying to play this game of, oh, we didn't get your cancellation in time. So, unfortunately, we're going to be sending it out from Los Angeles, California to, Norristown, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. It's like, yeah, I really don't believe that, They're 3 hours behind, too. So, if I mail something, they're going to get it ahead of time anyway. So that's a bunch of crock of shit. So, but you know what? For what it's worth, I'm dealing with it. I actually filed a complaint with this company from California. I would not deal with them probably again. But the price they were charging for this MacBook Pro, I mean, brand new. You can buy them still. This one MacBook Pro, it's the last of Apple's MacBooks that have a physical hard drive in there. I might have mentioned the other day, and it's like, yeah, this is a great deal. And then I thought about it. I was like, this is too good of a deal. Because generally, if you get a Mac way below cost, there's always a catch. Usually, they're really badly damaged. So when you pay a little extra money, you're getting what you're paid for, basically, with a Mac. Macs are already overpriced. So if somebody lets one go for dirt cheap, there's a reason why they're letting it go for dirt cheap, because it's probably been mangled beyond belief. That's just from my experience. I've noticed that. So, basically, you do got to watch. You got to watch what you buy, because you're basically going to be really wasting your money. And for a couple extra bucks, again, I would prefer anybody, hey, get it in the store. And Micro Center, there's one in each state. It's worth it, because if you have a problem, you can take it back to the store, and generally their warranties are good, even just to buy for the extra cash. Because I might have mentioned this before, but I got my, junky laptop that I got specifically work. It's a bulky one. It's the hard shell case, white, the last of that model. And I bought the extended warranty, and I've already abused that warranty way beyond belief. I mean, I put it like $150 into an extended warranty, and it cost them from me about $300 or so just on that cost me nothing. It cost Micro Center a couple hundred, like $300 just on stuff they were given to fix my computer every time I would break it. So the bottom line is, like, it's worth it. It's well worth it. So I even got a cheap bookcase for this, a nice looking one for this. What I got was a MacBook Pro. The one I had was a 15-inch. Now I got a 13-inch. It's a downsize, but it's actually the very last one. It came out in 2012, where you're able to put a physical hard drive in the machine, which is nice, which I can do my own work on these laptops, which I was always intimidated by laptops. Actually, not any longer, though, because already I've actually I placed the memory in there. It's real easy. There's like, I think, 6 screws on the bottom of the case, and everything just basically, you got to deal with more screws, but everything just then drops out. Easy just basically to remove and replace with whatever else you want. So that's what I like, because I was looking at the newer laptops. Not only god-awful expensive, like by twice the amount you're paying for an older one, even brand new or refurbished, but you can't replace the hard drive or other parts. At least mine, yeah, there is a big bulk of this laptop that is, what do you call it? it does have things soldered to the motherboard, but there's certain parts, the main parts you would basically upgrade anyhow, which is your memory, which I maxed it out. Now, I did it myself, and it's working great. And then also your hard drive. So I looked online. It's funny, actually. I found it. I got a 500 gig hard drive in here now, and it's not going to be hard to take out and put in what I just purchased tonight, or last night, I should say, at this point. What I ended up getting, I was looking around. I was like, I wasn't going to do it at first, but it's like, okay, it's going to be impossible to give my broken laptop away. But I don't want all my information. I wanted it erased. So what I end up doing is I can make my own up. It costs like $5, but for an extra $5, I had one that was already made on eBay of OS 10. What is it? 10.11 now, which is, let me see. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, El Capitan. That actually is, what is it? It's up to 10.11.5. So people are selling it. They like burned it off the flash drive. You won't have any worries because you get your OSs for free, but you got to download it, and you have to. And it's a bitch to make your own flash, bootable flash drive. So if somebody else does it for me, I'll pay a couple bucks to have it all done for me. And what I did is I got that on eBay for like $10. A bootable flash drive, because your OSs are now from Apple. They're all absolutely free. You're not paying a dime for them, so that's what's great. And they don't charge you. They don't see any purpose to do so. They charge you enough on the hardware. So why? And other software, if you buy them, because I have it on here now. This new laptop. At least I thought I do. I just don't see it present. So let me see. I'm trying to think of. It will come to me, and I still don't see it. That's weird. Oh, Final Cut. So I have Final Cut on here, and this thing actually will. I have a high definition video camera. I can actually hook it up to this laptop, so it's beautiful all the way around. But here's the catch, though. I was looking at different hard drives. Now you could get a 2 terabyte for like $97. 2 terabyte laptop hard drive, great. You can buy a Western Digital Black for like $90. Excellent. So the only thing is, some of these hard drives you got to watch personally, in my opinion, because some of these drives actually are running at 7,200 RPMs, which is great. But when you're talking a laptop, you probably would want a slower one because you're generating more heat. That's problem number one. And my opinion, I don't see the purpose. Everybody says how fast are. I don't really see it being that much faster. But they say, oh, yeah, you should buy, solid-state drives because, Apple sees a future of all solid-state drives. I really don't see that much of a performance boost that everybody proclaims is out there. I think that's a kind of almost like there might be some, but not as big as what people lead on you to believe. Excuse me. So I don't fall for that. So I would say the comfortable spot for a hard drive, depending on what you're doing, unless you're like doing serious game, and then you want the fastest of everything. But otherwise, it's just a total waste of money. It really is. No, I waste money. I know that. So the thing is, your best bet is, because it doesn't generate the amount of heat you're going to get from a faster hard drive, the spindle speed. You're better at 5,400. 7,200 is going to make your laptop like a frying pan, I think, because you're independent on your hard drive. Some of them you can get that they spin at high speed all the time, and that's even worse. That's just going to generate more heat. It's going to actually, if you just don't run it plugged in, because I always keep mine plugged in. Any laptop, I make sure it's plugged in at all times. So having a laptop that is not plugged in, you're going to drain your battery that much faster on a faster hard drive. It's going to be faster, but you're also generating more heat, and you're drawing more juice out of your battery. So all the way around, it's just, to me, I think it's just nonsense. You can get high-performance laptop hard drives, but it's a waste. And I don't believe on all that hype about solid-state drives being like so fast that you can see a big difference. It's like you're talking like a marginal difference, depending on what you're running, probably about less than 10% if you're lucky. So it's just you're wasting more money than you really need to. So what I saw tonight, though, I got one for like $60, a 1 terabyte hard drive. I didn't need the 2 terabytes. I look at what I'm using on my laptops, and at any given time, I'm not using not even close to 500, but I just want that little bit of a padding. So, but the thing that will make a difference on a hard drive, even a conventional hard drive, is the amount of cache. Now, for the most amount of time, there was like a couple megs of cache, because everything, you can have what do you call it, a super fast, 7,200 RPM hard drive. It's not going to make that much of a difference if what's being, moved on your hard drive to like where you need to use it is if it has a small amount of cache. And they figured that out. So they used to go up to 16, 32, even 64 megabytes of cache on the hard drive. That's good because that's your throughput. And the more you have on your throughput, that does make a difference. That definitely does make a difference. So, it'd be like, I don't know much about cars, so my analogy is going to be way off, but it's like having an 8-cylinder engine with everything being pushed through a paper straw. I mean, you have all this horsepower, but it's not getting through fast enough because, you have a very narrow, again, I don't know anything about cars, I'll admit to that, a narrow throughput. So the more cache you have will actually make more sense. Having more cache and a slower speed hard drive would make more sense than having a faster speed hard drive with not enough cache on there. Because that's the same thing. I think I'm correct on this because that's how it works even on your high-end CPUs, your processors. Like, they figured out, like, the more cache, on-die cache on your processor chip you have, that's going to make less of a bottleneck to get the information to where you want it at a faster pace. So why am I saying all this? Well, the reason is because here they had a hard drive. It was like $60, brand new, I believe. Maybe it's just one that's not boxed. It might be just an OEM, which I don't really care. They had one for $60, a 1 terabyte, and it's my brand that I like, which is Seagate. I've always depended on Seagate. That has 128 megs of cache. So that is beyond what any other hard drive have, and the price is cheap because 1 terabyte is like nothing now. You can get a terabyte hard drive from anywhere from $50 and to about $50 to $60, give or take. So spending extra money on a bigger hard drive, it doesn't make much sense because I don't use it. Getting a hard drive that's a lot faster, it doesn't make any sense because all you're basically doing then is you're just generating more heat and you're drawing more juice off your battery if that's the way you're going to run it. So none of that made sense to me. I'd rather have a slower speed, less heat being generated again, and one that has more cache, and that would have it all. So that's what I end up doing. So probably by the weekend, if I'm lucky, what I'll end up doing is I'll basically, it'll probably come in the next 2 days. I'll just take the hard drive out of here, put the other one in, or I'll wait until I get this flash drive for El Capitan, put it in here. But none of that stuff I know. I realize, again, this is just a test run tonight on a different laptop. This is definitely my backup one, because I do like now how it's a little easier to do certain things on Windows when you do stuff like this. But sometimes the quality of sound is just not there. So this is a perfect backup. The size is a little bit smaller. And I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone because in my other laptop, which has got some issues, it'd just be something for somebody just to fool around with who wants it. It's a giveaway. It was a $1,000 computer when I bought it, but right at this point it's just too costly to figure out where the issues may lie. It could cost me more than it's actually even valued at. My older laptop, which is a shame because it looks like it's brand new. So anyway, that's where I stand. Anyway, folks, if I haven't said, it's July 14th, and thank goodness it's getting further away from that witching hour. Because this one movie I was watching earlier was really creepy, and yeah. So my big thing now, by the way, I had all this from all the money I've been spending, by the way. I had like from eBay and Amazon and who knows where else they give you money back for when you spend so much to give you money back. Well, I had like $50 or $60 from one place and another $40 from another place, you know, between Amazon and eBay. So I was like, okay, well, there's certain things that I buy my house goods or my toiletry stuff now. Basically, believe it or not, on Amazon, because I found it to be cheaper, and with the 2-day shipping, you can't beat that. Because sometimes, by the time I even get out of bed during the work week, it's so late I'm going right to work. So, you know, by the time I do get around to it, won't be until the weekend anyway. So it actually saves me time and effort because, that being said, I can just pick stuff up on Amazon. So I'll buy like stuff that I'll actually need to use, and I'll buy stuff that I don't need to use, but I just want to, you know, basically own, you know, like movies and stuff, by the way, because I just bought some movie. Oh, God, I put that away. I got some movie. It looked really interesting. I couldn't find anywhere. I got it cheap, I think, on Amazon. It just came yesterday, so I ended up watching it last night. It was called The Flesh Eaters. And the thing that sold me on that movie was, you know, I wanted to see because it looked pretty cool. It's an old, I think it's a 1964, you know, exploitation almost kind of film. It might have been 1954. But either way, I wanted to see it because it looked really cool, and I couldn't find a decent copy, even on, you know, YouTube had a pretty decent one. But it was cheaper just to buy it. Well, it would have been cheaper just to watch it on TV, but then you're not guaranteed. But it was cheap to buy it on Amazon. So I got that the other day. I was watching that. It was actually not that great, but the whole premise that really sold me, it was like they were saying, oh, yeah, it was like cut scenes where in this film there was a part that was deleted out where it was supposed to be about you know, Nazis with the way they experiment with things. They try to come up with some new I'm trying to think, like a new type of chemical warfare thing, and it was something that once it was placed in your water system, it would basically eat away at the flesh of human flesh or any type of, you know, flesh of some sort. So it sounded pretty cool, and it was like, yeah, this was like borderline the first exploitation film, you know, before they even officially got named that, and I got this film, and it had Nazis in there, supposedly. Well, it actually had none of that stuff. It had really no Nazis in there, and it actually wasn't what I would consider an exploitation film, or, you know, by my standards, what I would expect to see in an exploitation film. But they kind of build it up to be that way, so I got suckered into buying this very old film, which was cool. It looked great, though, by the way. It looked really good. The quality was real good because they restored it for being, you know, an older film. So, in fact, I think I got that for free from some of the money I had from Amazon. Another thing I bought, I didn't need it, but I'm just saying I had to have it. It was pretty funny. I should use that as my... Well, I could probably get in trouble, though. I don't know. Maybe I will. I have this big fascination now, folks, with Harley Quinn and the Joker for the new Suicide Squad, which it's hard to believe. It's only a few weeks away until that comes out. So, yeah, I'm actually getting, like, really psyched kind of, like, you know, when it comes out. I'm like, they're already doing pre-orders, I think, on the tickets at this point. So, I already bought, like, I think that I did a show on that where I was at Hot Topic, and I bought little figurines of, you know, the Joker and Harley Quinn. And I'm not, like, a big Joker fan from over the years. Some characterizations were better than the others. But this new one is kind of, like, grown on me. And Harley Quinn, which was a cartoon, you know, made character That's why I heard it. She derived from Harley Quinn. Actually, derived from cartoons based upon Batman. The comics and stuff. She wasn't never in the comics originally. That's what I was told. So, and I got some mention about comics. I made a couple of mistakes, which to me is no big. I make mistakes all the time, but I made a major mistake. Anyway, I end up buying. They're going to release one later this year, and then another one later next year of Harley Quinn. What actually looks like that's another thing I get wrong. I finally got to hear her name correctly. Who's going to play Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad? Her name is Margaret Robbie. So she's got two first names, one a man's name and one a woman's name. That's pretty weird. I think she is Australian. I always said Margaret Robbie for the longest time, and nobody ever corrected me. So I find out, I see some interview with her, and they say Margaret Robbie. So that's how you say her name. So finally I got her name right at least. I got something right. So, but they're releasing, more so, they're promoting Margaret Robbie more so than anything else, it seems like. So, what is it? I end up buying online with the money I had, because I can use it. It's like money they give you back, so you can use it whatever you want to use it on. I mean, I get a lot of stuff, so I end up buying the one that's just released now. It's a 12-inch action figure of Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn, and the funny thing was, they wrote right on the box. I wish I had a closer view of it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because I also put a picture of it on my Instagram. So let me see if I can find it. I actually texted a person, too. I can use that as well. Friend Todd. It has written on the box, I got the Margaret Robbie, Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad action figure. It's a 12-inch one. But I swear to God, because I get picked on, you buy too many kids' toys and stuff. Well, guess what this has on here? It's no joke. I'm looking at it right now. For the adult collector. So it's not a child's toy. It's an adult toy. A 12-inch action figure of Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn. And it's not meant to be sold. They made that specific on the box. It's not meant to be sold for kids. It's meant to be sold to adults. So that makes me feel really good. It's like, wow, I got a thing that's, she's kind of hot looking, I think, Margaret Robbie. And it specifically says, hey, you don't sell this to a kid. You sell this to an adult. It literally says it on the box. It's in the thing. It's not a sticker of some sort. It actually says this is for adults only. And it's just an action figure. So I thought that was pretty funny. Now, they're pulling ones out that, really look like the actress, completely look like her, but they're not coming out till later, and they're really expensive. I think they got one or two out now, but they're a couple $100. I'm not spending that kind of money. So, because I kind of like the look. I think that the premise looks pretty cool, even though I'm not too pleased that they got Will Smith to play Deadshot, because I heard they kind of changed the whole character, and he's showing his face constantly. The commercials actually, I hate to admit to it, he does look really funny, the way he kind of adds that humor, Will Smith, because that's what he's best known for. He's being a little witty and stuff. I think it looks actually really cool. So, I'm not that disappointed. Okay, one mistake I made was I said the other day, and the guy the friend from work who sent it to me, my friend Matt from work, he was laughing his ass off. I was like, dude, this is not funny. I'm telling everybody that. And I read the article wrong. Somebody corrected me, another friend, my friend Todd. He had corrected me. But I was fully convinced, because my own stupidity of not reading the article properly or at all. I only read the title of it. I was fully convinced that Stan Lee was dead. And if I would have read the article, I would have found out it was just a play on words. They said Stan Lee had died in California, peacefully in California. What it was spelled like was not D-I-E, but it was D-Y-E, because he gets his hair dyed by his wife. So from me not reading an article, I just basically put this man to his resting place when he's still fucking alive. He's 93 years old, though, so that's the thing. So I felt like such an ass. I was like, okay, and I said, well, I guess I heard that, what do you call it, passed away, some other actress, and that was another one. It was a hoax to send out to get people all worked up. And I can't remember. She played on Mary Tyler Moore show. What was her name? Not Mary Tyler Moore, but it was one of the actresses, Mary. She also played on The Golden Girls. Maybe I should put Golden Girls on. She's a very funny actress. Actress. I'm trying to look right now. Oh, Betty White. Yeah, they played something up that Betty White passed away. It was like, oh, no, because she's up there in age, too. They're not that far apart. But me being the, sternata that I am, the idiot that I am, I actually believed it. I just had to check something real quick. So, yeah, twice in a row that I really majorly fucked up. I mean, I put people in, buried under the ground and they're still freaking alive. That's actually really kind of depressing. It's really scary. I mean, yeah, I guess you do got to read stuff through. You can't just go by a little bit. And I do stories where I just read titles. I don't go all the way through. So I got to kind of dig into stuff a little bit. I doubt I will. I'll make more mistakes in the future. I'm sure about that. So anyway, this was pretty cool. If you're a big Spider-Man fan, I think this is really, really cool. They now have, Marvel has a Spider-Man, the new Amazing Spider-Man, the one that's coming out, Homecoming. There is an official Facebook page on that one. So that's pretty cool. And unfortunately, they're putting up a lot of screenshots, like probably most likely, no other way to put it, they're putting up a lot of spoilers. They're doing that on their own. But, yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. I wasn't that interested in Amazing Spider-Man, but the pictures they are putting up do look pretty cool. I guess they're trying to make it, because Marvel actually owns Spider-Man now. So that's the part that's really cool. So they're going to do it the proper way, so to speak. Character-wise, everything else is going to be done the way it's meant to be done. So, but, they kind of gave you a teaser, obviously, and Captain America with Peter Parker, but now they are going to go, one step further, with this movie, Amazing Spider-Man. So, just to give you a heads up, yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Trying to see, because I didn't really put too many articles up. This was going to be a test. Hey, if you're what was that, Doctor Who #7 fan, this was pretty funny. I saw you can buy a mug that looks like his sweater, which had the question marks in there. And that was Sylvester McCoy. I couldn't stand the man. I mean, not personally, but I'm just saying. But they made his jumper sweater into a mug. You can buy it. It's called Tone Cartoon Shop. It's like £9, which I found out tonight. The British pound, gold, what is it? The British pound is not that much different than the American dollar. Like, the value of the European dollar has dropped so drastically. It's worth so little right now that even though we're plummeting in the U.S. with our dollar value, they're falling right behind us. Like, we're catching up to them because their currency is so screwed up that it doesn't, you're not wasting, like before you bought anything from Europe or England, every American dollar is only worth 50 cents in Europe. Now it's like almost close to about a little, closer to $1 than before, like 75 cents, which is incredible. I mean, I'm not doing a good math analogy, but that's pretty incredible. So, hey, that's the thing. You want to buy like one of these Doctor Who mugs. It looks like Doctor Who #7 sweater. You can pick it up for £9, which probably is not going to be that much more at this point, depending on what the shipping costs. Well, that won't cost much either then, huh? So just throwing it out there for those who like that. I saw this one article. I was trying to look for a couple articles at least to post tonight. I don't have many. I only have 3. I can always find other ones. You know me. But this one was really funny because it was from the Daily UK Mail. I call it that. It's just a Daily Mail, I know. I realize that. Anyway, it says, the title of this one, that's enough for me because I just think it was really funny. Laptops recovered from ISIS jihadists are filled with 80%, was filled 80% with porn, reveals former U.S. intelligence director. So I saw that and was like, I hate to say it, but that's pretty hilarious. I mean, it's not really funny, but I hate to say it kind of is. That, how their beliefs are and everything like that, but yet, they're this perfect religion or something, whatever you want to call that. Shitheads is what I'd rather call it. And, their whole belief, but yet, they have laptops that are filled pretty much with porn. So, it just kind of doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's funny. But, I mean, it doesn't matter what country you're from or what religion you are. It just seems like, apparently, that when it comes to porn, everybody is pretty much the same everywhere, anywhere. But everybody acts like they're either prudish or, certain things about their religion doesn't allow them to think of women for more, or men, I don't know. But either way, the opposite sex for anything more. I'm just being my political correctness. For nothing more, you should look at another, a person normally normally of the opposite sex, unless it's for procreation. So that just throws that out the window, because even those people who are, their whole thing is fighting for religion, when it comes to sex, they're no different than anybody else. So, I find that entertaining, to say the least. Because, why would these people be looking at porn for any other reason than that they are, going to masturbate to it? So, is that in their religion too? I don't know, because I didn't think so. So, anyway, yeah, there's a couple other things. Well, no, I don't really have much. I honestly don't tonight. I really don't have much. I thought the biggest thing I could throw out was, my laptop I'm experimenting with, and the thing about the new Spider-Man Homecoming. That sounded pretty interesting. I figured I'd talk about that a little bit, and some other things. They're kind of pushing now for Supergirl 2 second season. I really like it. They're actually going to make an action figure of that at some point, which I would be interested in getting. And there was some article I found. It's from the Daily Bugle Spidey, and it says Supergirl recruits Fiona Lama or whatever. I can't pronounce that name, to play a gay DC character, Maggie Sawyer. So, I don't know. You got to put the whole political correctness, even in cartoons or comic books or comic book TV shows. I think that's just a little ridiculous. Well, I think it's really ridiculous, actually. But does it surprise me? Yeah, it actually does. I don't know why, but it actually does. So, yeah. What was it? Oh, I am still sticking with, I always talk about it, so I'm still sticking with, by the way, and I recommend it still, is that TV show Scream. They did put a new one on last night. It was definitely eye-catching, but it kind of goes in different directions, that show, it seems like. It's like sometimes they're a couple of episodes, they're geared to make sure, hey, even though this show's on MTV and it's geared toward young adults, they try to at least kind of drag in family members as well. People that are not just early 20s or late teens. They try to draw in an older crowd too, like family, single moms and dads or whatever, but not like single moms or dads that are teenagers, but single moms or dads that are in their 30s at least. So they're trying to draw in a little bit of a variety. So I'm talking about Scream, and what I see on Facebook is where to buy some Scream the TV series other merchandise, like even a cover for your iPhone. That is actually pretty cool. But yeah, the last that's another thing. Where I work, we have a shutdown right now, which is pretty cool. It's been slow. Unfortunately, I'm getting stuck to do work even on a quiet time, so it's not making it making me too impressed. But whatever, I'll just do what I need to do. And speaking about that, I gotta find. This is what I wanted to look up. A friend of mine, he's like where I work. He's always interested in what's happening around our area. And there is one thing that's happening right now. There's a company in Lansdale, where I work up in that area, that is actually been in the paper yesterday and the day before. I think I said that right for a change. So I'm going to have to look for it. My friend Matt actually posted it, and then I found like a more recent one just yesterday, and I would think probably by later today, I'm sure there's even going to be probably a little bit more. Just looking at some weird stuff on Facebook, because sometimes I will find some interesting articles as I talk, and then I'll just bring them up. But first, let me find my friend. Okay, here we go. My friend Matt. Let's see what he did put up some more stuff. Anyway, one thing he posted, it was an update from a different article. It's from Business Daily in the section of the Philadelphia Inquirer. This was actually on the 12th, and then they updated it the 13th on a different paper. I think it was like the paper from Lansdale. But it was like Merck shifts 300-plus jobs away from PA, New Jersey, updates. So this has been updated almost every day. And if you read this, though, they were saying how they laid off a lot of people, this company. It's a pharmaceutical company that laid off a lot of people just a couple years ago. And they said they're only going to do 10% at these different in total in these different locations. Combining locations, one in New Jersey and a couple in Pennsylvania, in the same area of like Lansdale, West Point, and some other areas. They say it's going to be a total of 360 people. It's going to be 10% of the total amount of employees at these different areas. But then it goes on, I think in one article, that they were saying it's going to be pretty much one location that's going to get hit the heaviest, even though it's only quote-unquote 10%. So, yeah, it's only 360 people, but if you're one of those, unlucky people in that 360 people, that 10% is going to mean like a whole hell of a lot more than what they're leading on it to be. And that is a lot of people. I don't care how you look at it. 360 people are going to be losing their job. So, what and a lot of companies are doing this. I try to tell a friend of mine, my friend Todd, I said he's worried his job's in jeopardy, and he's taking it very personally. It's like, dude, they're doing this everywhere. Everybody's, they're downsizing just because a lot of these companies, they just basically can't afford what is expected out of them right now. It means like giving, what do you call it? Your employees more money and they do less work. Demands are just really, really, really high, from the government forcing it upon these companies. And don't get me wrong, I like getting more money, better benefits, but there's a cost for that too. So that's the downside. And what happens, like companies either, or maybe like a company, I would assume like Merck, I don't know enough about them. maybe that's a different story. Maybe they're being a little bit too stingy. I don't really know. But my assumption is that a lot of these companies, the reason they're coming back because what they're forced to pay out to their employees is more than what they can really comfortably deal with. That's just my opinion. And maybe, again, I'm not saying this is true for this company, Merck, but there is a lot of companies, it does hurt them. And it does affect, what do you call it? It's like, listen, hey, we're giving you what you want because it's being forced upon us from the government. But you know what? I hate to tell you, folks, but we're going to, really horrible picture. Poor dog that's like been starved to death. It's like a German Shepherd, I guess, but it's like skin and bones. The price is going to be that, there's going to be less people there. There's going to be a lot less people. So, because for instance, look at what McDonald's did on the West Coast and other fast food joints or places, maybe I'd assume like Walmart, where, okay, hey, you got to pay for minimum wage for an entry-level job. You got to now pay these people $15 an hour, plus you got to pay for their health benefits because it's forced upon you, upon them from the government. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're due that, but in return, we're going to have to lay off a lot of people, and that's what ended up happening. They're laying off a lot of people. So, and then my friend Toddy was saying, well, hey, I'm getting paid probably more money than even the other people in my store, management-wise and other things. And what that led to, I would think, that being said, like other companies, companies that are forced to give pay increases or just right off the bat, in another instance, pay increases or having people that get a job at McDonald's or Walmart and paying them like what they used to pay for entry-level job positions. They would pay people no more than I'm trying to think, what, $8 an hour, maybe $10 an hour, but now you got to pay them $15. And then on top of it, they're forced to pay for health benefits. I mean, it's out of control. And it's actually hurt more people because they're cutting back on the amount of people they hire. That's why you have more people laid off and not working. Of course, a lot of them just don't want to work anymore. That's the other problem. They're so used to, why should I work when I'm getting all these government benefits? I'm getting more just sitting on my ass. And that's what their mentality rate is now. So, so this is not good. This is not good. I don't even know what got me started on this, by the way. I honestly don't know, so I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. So, I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, I remember now, actually, believe it or not, I got back on track. But you got, places like Merck, a place where my friend works, that what are these companies all doing? They're going to where it's cheaper. It's cheaper to employ people. It's cheaper to make products, and where there's not all these, what do you call it, these high demands. I mean, it's basically what it is. And it's just killing everybody. It is killing our economy. So the only thing I can hope for at this point is hopefully we get somebody in office that's going to stop this nonsense that's going on right now. So, because places like, going back to this Merck and company, why are they downsizing? Well, it's really kind of simple. They just, they're almost being forced to at this point. They have no choice. And it really sucks because, most of us would rather have, a job that pays decent, doesn't have to be outrageous, like an outrageous amount of money, but decent, and be able to have benefits. That would be better than getting paid like a large, ridiculous amount of money, and then, and get all the, basically getting pampered to death, and then at the end, what do you call it? It's going to put other people out of work, and that's what it's doing. All these companies are actually going through the same thing. They're all like severely downsizing, and there's more and more people on the streets now. So, when I read this article a friend sent to me about this company called Merck, that's basically what I saw. It's like one more company that they're keep on downsizing because demands are so high they can't keep them. Now I'm just saying that I could be totally off on that. I could basically can just tell me you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Well, maybe I don't. I'm just saying. And I'm saying that because every company I've seen so far, that's exactly what I'm seeing. I'm seeing them like mass layoffs and everything else. So, there's got to be, you got to look through all this nonsense that, this is not the truth, and, realize, what, maybe Walter knows what he's talking about. Maybe he has a clue. So it's not the other way around. Well, you have no clue what you're talking about, Walter. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. I don't know. I think I do. So, again, if you wanted to, you can look. It was in the Philly.com on the 12th, and then 13th in, like, a local Lansdale paper. They just posted it. So, to me, I find that stuff kind of interesting. I'm going to see if I can find that article, actually, on my Facebook page. But, there was a couple other things, too. I'll have to read this later. This girl told me how she wears. She says she owns a pair of. I'm looking at now. I put up some hot picture of a girl in spandex, and some girl wrote back. She says I own the black pair that were great with boots, and I also own a collection of headbands, maybe inspiration from Olivia Newton-John. Blah blah blah. Let's see what she looks like. Oh. Yeah, she is a really hot-looking girl, too. God, I'd like to see her in spandex if she has all that stuff. She actually answered. So, anyway, let me go back to my Facebook page. Sorry, folks. And, I put up a couple nonsense stuff, but it was funny. It was one thing I wish I could find. It's just so buried, I don't know if I can. But it was like Tom Baker, who played Doctor Who, was going off on some political thing into England. But hearing, the Doctor Who that I always thought of, Tom Baker, he wasn't the first one. I'm just saying that he's the one most of us, who are old-time Whovian fans would relate to. Him going off on politics, like literally ranting and raving something about some political thing. Tom Baker, of all things. So it was actually kind of interesting. So I'm going to see. Maybe I can't find. And you know what? By the way, folks, I found this picture online. It was posted. She posted it. Julie Newmar. And she's like, I think she's in her late 80s or something. And, I mean, maybe I'm just crazy, but, well, that's a given. But she looks incredible. She's like doing this publicity shot. And you got to remember, she really takes good care of herself. Because I looked it up. I'm going to see if I can find her age again. But I think she's like 82. But she's dressed kind of like pretty sexy, so to speak. And she's up there in age. But she obviously takes very good care of herself. She, puts a lot of, into her appearance. I'm going to put in Julie Newmar. But, she looks incredible. She was born in 1933. So she's 82 years old. And, she looks really good for a person who's 82. She looks incredible. I mean, she's very thin. She's, she keeps keeps herself in good shape, and it's not like, oh, well, she's, so thin because she's so old. It's like, no, she actually takes, she takes pride in her appearance. She puts time. She's concerned about the way, her physique looks and her appearance. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're as old, like they always say, you're as old as you feel. Oh, I'm checking my computer. I got to keep an eye on that. Now, here's a funny thing, too. I put it on my Facebook page for a reason, but I didn't look or read this yet. But I got something that says Suicide Squad video, and it actually does have, I haven't watched it. I want to watch this later on, so I can't really mention much. But it does have Margaret Robbie in there. And, but in the beginning, because that's going to be the new thing for guys, I think, at these comic conventions. But the guy, like, it's something talking about the Suicide Squad, and what does he have on? He has Margaret Robbie's shirt that she wears, the one that says Daddy's, what is it? I can't remember what that shirt says, and I'll have to look at the picture again. But it starts out with this guy talking, and he's got Margaret Robbie's T-shirt on from, I'm drawing a blank. Daddy's Little Monster. He's got the Daddy's Little Monster, and that's the second guy I've seen. Now, this guy has something to deal with working with the movie, but he has that Daddy's Little Monster shirt on that Margaret Robbie wears in the Suicide Squad movie. Yeah, here it is. He's talking about it, and it's kind of really funny. I'm going to have to watch this. So that's the new thing, a guy wearing Margaret Robbie's Daddy's Little Monster. I think it's funny. I was ready to buy one, this for convention reasons and stuff, and just because it would be funny to wear in general, too, which I would do. Don't put it surpass me. I really would, but I think that's going to be the big thing. Because you kind of can get away with it because it's just a regular T-shirt. It's just one that Margaret Robbie wears. So, and there was an interesting picture. It was like 14 hours ago, it says right now, of Jared Leto. I say Leto. Probably got his name wrong. It's really freakish, but I'm pretty sure it really is him too. And he's got his whole garb on from. Yeah, I guess it is. It's on his page. He probably did it on set when he was playing the Joker. I think his version of Joker is going to be quite interesting. I really do. But they're going to steal the movie, basically, of Suicide Squad. I don't know how I got back on that, but I just did, so I'm sorry. So, alrighty, I'm just trying to check what's going on in the background because I have that PlayStation running with Pluto, Pluto TV. That is really cool, by the way. I read something. I didn't read this one. I read the title, but it was from labor411.org, and it says, it's titled Twisted, 63 Years of Oreos, where to make the Oreo cookies in Chicago, officially comes to an end. Friday, July 8th, marked a sad day in history of one of America's most nostalgic family treats. The last Oreo came out of line in Chicago Southwest Side plant. So I don't know if some other Oreo parent company is moving its branch of Oreo production to Mexico. There we go. So another company that the cost has gotten too outrageous, too many problems. So they're moving their plant site now officially is going to be where they make the cookies. It's going to be down in Mexico. So that is pretty interesting. Yeah, there was, I don't know, I got some other stories. There was actually one I got from this local newspaper in the Morning Call, and it was titled 9-Year-Old Girl Finds Abandoned Baby in her Backyard. But this was like not around here, I don't think, even though it was in the morning call. I couldn't get it to work at my job on my laptop, so because there was some updates I had to do, and I didn't do them yet. Ain't gonna do it. Yeah, so I don't know where this actually happened. It looks like Chicago. This young girl, 9-year-old little girl, found a baby in her backyard, just abandoned. So, and the other day, in case, because I wasn't on, so I apologize, but Harrison Ford had turned 74 years old. He actually looks really good. I think he sounds good. And I think I hate to say it, sounds pretty bad, but he is married to an awfully young girl, woman. You know, he's 74. I think she's only 30. And that might be part of his secret, keeps him young. If you don't act old, don't feel, then you're not, if you don't act old, you're not going to look old. I don't know. It just seems that way. So, and I read some really weird title. Again, I didn't read the whole thing. There are a lot of weird stories because now the Daily Mail has just become a garbage newspaper online. And so I can always find some amusing stories, but one was Mexican hit woman claims she had sex with corpses after beheading them and drinks the blood of the dead. So she doesn't look that bad looking, but she's like almost like one of these Cortel type people, but she's a girl. And again, she's not bad looking. It's just kind of disgusting what she does, if it's true. I'm not going to read it. I'm just giving you like the highlights. And you know what's a lot on the Daily Mail? And they say this might be, I heard it on the radio the other day. I think it was satellite radio from playing in one of the stores or restaurants I went in, is about, which originally was from here, was, she was, this, not this drug cartel woman, girl, is Taylor Swift. They're kind of speculating this whole thing with this ongoing relationship she apparently has with a new lover or whatever, and how they might have broken up. They think that this whole thing is just basically a setup. Basically a setup that's going to eventually, she's doing it to promote a new album. So apparently they say like, I think it's like her track mark of making new records, new albums, Taylor Swift, is every 4 years. I think it's every 4 years. I'm just guessing. Honestly, I don't remember what they said, but they said something like every so many years she puts out a new album. So, and it's just like the track mark would say, okay, this is the year she would put out something new. She's been doing it religiously for the last, she's not that old, but for so many years she's been pretty much doing it like, I can't even think of the right words. Like she'll do it at like exactly 3 or 4 years, whatever it was. And this deadline of her putting out a new album would end up being around now. So they're saying that maybe this is just a whole publicity thing because, most of her albums, most of these female entertainers, their songs are about breakups, bad relationships, blah, blah, blah. So they're thinking this is a whole publicity stunt just to put out a new album. And basically because she's always being followed by the paparazzi. So they're thinking it's a whole setup. And that this whole thing is just fake to promote, again, another album that she hasn't announced yet, but she will be probably announcing soon. So, but that's all that is plastered all the time is on the Daily Mail, everywhere else with her. She's like, it's amazing for a girl who was born in Pennsylvania, where I was born. She is the most covered entertainer, I think, in the news at any given time, like literally. So it's interesting. It really is, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, but that's all this is now. It's like the Daily Mail is no better than those trashy newspapers, which I don't care because I enjoy wild stories. Trust me, I don't get me wrong. I do love those kind of the garbage, but it's gone beyond that. Unfortunately, it's gone way beyond that on the Daily Mail. I'm trying to think of some of it, like the Inquirer or whatever, with Bat Boy, whatever those newspapers were. There's little papers you get at Walmart or at the not the newsstand, at the grocery market on the checkout line. Well, that's basically what you look at. Most news out there is exactly the same way. Don't get me wrong. It's all pretty much gossip and garbage. So it's not that it's not only her. Oh. Sorry, I'm looking at these pictures of some girl. I thought it was somebody else. I'm glad it's not her. It'd be pretty sad if it was. I'm trying to think if there's nothing or something I didn't cover that it was like, oh, wait, I regret. I did cover my grounds, folks. I fuck up a lot. I make a lot of mistakes on my news sources. That's why I almost try to stay away from that. But then I end up going back because I have nothing else to talk about. And, and then when I do tell stories, I either mess up on the person's name or I get the information completely wrong or I mispronounce words. So it is kind of hard for me to do that. So, but at this point, I don't see that much. For those like me who love listening to Rush Limbaugh, unfortunately, he's going to be off the rest of the week starting today because he has a golf tournament or something he's doing, charity tournament, so he's going to be off. Now, it's kind of funny. He's like building up my hope, which it's not working this time, actually, but he's trying to build up people's hope that he's saying that Rush was saying, because today was his open line Friday as well, because he's not going to be on today or the rest of the week. He's away. He's going to be off there. But it kind of builds up your hope in a roundabout way, and he's like saying, "Oh well, Hillary's not doing that well, even after all the money she spends. She spends millions of dollars on campaigning and stuff, and Trump hasn't, and Trump's doing so much better." Well, not like a lot better, but he's making ground. And it's like, this is great to hear, but do I believe it? And not really, I mean, I hate to be so pessimistic. I loved to believe this, but I guess, burn me once, shame on me, burn me twice, shame on you. That's the way. It doesn't go that way. I'm just saying it that way. But that's how I feel right now because, I got suckered in the last time that Mitt Romney was going to win. There's, despite what the tabloids were saying and everything like that. And it just turns out the complete opposite. It's like, well, you know what? After that, I just got burned so badly that I'm not going to fall for that. Well, even though the things are saying that Hillary may win or Hillary's losing, I just we've had 7.5 years of the worst, what do you call it? The worst situation or controlled government like in ages. I mean, this is the worst. It was like worst in two terms of having Jimmy Carter. I mean, it's like I compared, what do you call it, to Jimmy Carter, President Obama, but he's like much worse. And it's just all I can see in our future is it's gonna be maybe probably hopefully not, but I can only imagine. All I see in our future is maybe another 8 years of Hillary Clinton, where there's going to be he's destroyed most of this country. The Democrats, Obama. Because he's like a train wreck or a train that's ready to crash, and the Republicans aren't even trying to slow him down or stop anything, as Rush would put it. Like, stop this nonsense that he's doing. Like the situation Obama's created. if he wants to basically blow a building up or raise taxes so high that everybody across the board, I'm just hypothetically speaking, Obama, if Obama decided to pass a law, hey, I'm going to raise taxes across the board for everybody, everybody has to pay 50% of their paycheck, nobody's going to be there to stop him from doing that. He could say, you know what, I think I'm just going to start World War III tomorrow, and the Republicans will be just way too afraid to do anything to stop that situation. They're going to say, well, if this is the way you feel, okay, I guess we'll let you do it. He can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. And that's the same thing what's going to happen with Hillary, if it's not happening already. And, the people that are supporting him, unfortunately, are all these, migrants, these illegal immigrants and stuff like that, where this is perfect because the more, and that's another thing, it's like let as many foreigners in our country as possible, give them, as they come in, encourage them to come in, because, hey, if you come to our country, we're going to give you free money, food, and housing, and even a free car. We're even give you a driver's license. So why does he do this? Why does he encourage everybody to come here? Well, that's a vote in the Democrats, in their direction. Now, you can say, oh, well, they can't vote right away, but that's what they're pushing for next, or they'd like to. They want to push that these people that come over here, not only are they going to get all this free stuff, but they're also going to be able to vote in our election. So this is like a major problem. And you can say, well, why are you so down on these people that are misfortunate? We should be helping these other countries. Well, guess what? Those same people are going to take your job away, too. So to let you know that. Well, my job is like a qualified job. There's no way they would ever take that away from me. As I said before, that's their objective. They're going to take that away from you. That job is not, and why would they give it to your job to somebody else? Well, it's really simple. Do the math. Because this person from another country who could barely speak any English, doesn't want to learn English, is living on housing assistance that we pay out of our taxes, is also going to do the same job you might be doing for $20 an hour for like $5 or $10 an hour. And they're going to get the free health benefits and everything else. They even get that tax break to begin with. So it's like perfect. So the sad thing about that, folks, is the people just really have no clue that by voting like for a Democrat, voting for Democrats into office, you're basically voting yourself out of a job. You're voting yourself to pay more taxes. You're voting yourself to basically, as much as you think that, oh, well, the government's going to do everything for me, in actuality, they're not doing anything for you. They're doing more for themselves, and they're leaving you pretty much with more burden in your life. So, but people just don't seem to see that. They see it's like instant gratification. I got to make a pause. Okay, I'm back now. I'm sorry about that. What happened is I had one of those, I forget what they call them. I call them like thousand leggers or something, but they're like, what do you call it? They're those, I can't remember the name. They're really disgusting looking type of bugs. Well, anyway, I had one crawling up my wall, so I took a quick pause. So I'm almost finished anyway, folks, because it's over an hour. I didn't think I could do this. And another thing, a friend made a joke about it. It's like with our economy, by the way, being so bad and, people not working and all this other nonsense, what is people's, main concern? And a friend made a joke about this. It's not about looking for a job or anything like that. it's a lot of stuff about this Pokemon. I don't know what the whole deal with that is, but yeah, it's about Pokemon. So there's something, people are going crazy over Pokemon. So a friend, let me see if I can find that now. I thought it was pretty funny. A friend probably sent as a private message so other people can't see it, but I'll find it. I thought it was hilarious. And I did read a lot of articles on that, too. If I can't find it, it's not a big deal. But he did put something up about Pokemon, and I've been seeing a lot of articles. No, I'm sorry, I can't find it. It's like, okay, it should be about, more. It was something on the line of like, well, people, instead of being more, I'm trying to think of the right word, concerned about getting a job or, making things, taking responsibility for your life, they're more concerned about Pokemon. Now, I thought like that whole Pokemon thing was like stuff when I was younger, like in my 20s, when those kids back then were making a big deal out of it, like little kids. But now it's like adults that just don't want to grow up. So maybe I'll check. Maybe it's on my friend Todd's page. I'll see if he put up something. Because I thought it was entertaining. No, I guess he didn't put up. Yeah, it's just he does have a couple of articles up, but he put something as a joke about Pokemon and how that's more important. And I put up so many different articles. I honestly don't know where I stand right now. There's a couple like joke things too about Jason Voorhees too that I had posted up. Another thing is there's some articles I did post on my Facebook page about Alien Covenant being described as a dark and humorless movie. So, hey, it sounds good to me. It means it's going to be more scary if it's humorless. So, okay, here it is. That's why I didn't recognize it. A friend put this on my Facebook page. Actually, no, he didn't put it on my Facebook page. I found it from somebody else's Facebook page. But they put a little caption on here of some guy laughing, drinking a drink. And it says, the caption that was written on there says, "Our country is falling apart, and we have people chasing a fucking Pokemon." So that's like the biggest thing right now is this whole Pokemon thing. I have no clue about this whole Pokemon thing. I have no understand of it, so I apologize. I don't know. I guess I take, more concerned about like how to pay bills, kind of get caught up with things, not about Pokemon. So that's the only thing I just don't understand. That's another thing. This is like, to me, this is, I've probably said this in the past, so, not that I repeat myself an awful lot. I understand. But I really, truly find this completely perplexing when, you have, grown adults who, go to college or whatever, and they spend their, because I saw this one girl that, she's a friend on my Facebook page. She's, like, cute as a button, but she goes to, like, I think her mother enables her. That's her problem. But her mother, I think, enables her. Yeah, I see her right now, so I might lose this story, though. So I'm going to have to post this on my Facebook page. Every time I look at her page, she's going to these really elaborate and very expensive stuff. And it's like, where do you get all this money? I mean, she's got to be, like, basically putting her mother into, like, major debt. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I don't see her actually physically working a real job. But yet she's, and I see this with other girls. I've mentioned this girl before. But it's like one big party all the time, or going to these comic conventions. Like, I do it once a year. That's like give or take, I do it literally like once a year. This girl is like, and I see this with a lot of this younger generation, and they're not really girls. They're supposed to be women, but they act like little kids, and they're like constantly on these social event things, like on a daily basis. It's like, where do you get all this money that you can just, not work? Or if you do work, you work maybe like 2 days, you're not even working. And you're like 365 days out of a year, you're just like partying or goofing off. It's like, where's this money coming from? I mean, is it like what do you call it? Like you got inherited so much money that you never have to work. You can just like basically work. I mean, are these the? I'm wondering, are these the kind of people that what they're getting their money from is from us? Like, is it coming from our paychecks? Through they're getting welfare money, but I don't see these people, do anything really serious. It's like one big freaking game, and it's like I don't have time to do I don't have time to do any of this stuff. How do they have all this time just to spend their whole entire life just partying? Like, it's like these unrealistic MTV shows where they show where these kids are, but these are grown adults. This is the thing. Again, it just really bothers me. Grown adults that just it's like a constant party event. Like, no responsibility, nothing at all. Where is this money coming from? I mean, I couldn't spend my whole entire year, my whole entire life, every year, every day, just wasting money on nonsense. I mean, it would get to the point that I would be so far in debt. And that's what I'm wondering, too. I'm sure eventually that's what's going to happen. I'm going to hear these people ran out of money. Oh, I'm so broke, I don't know what to do with myself. And I hate to say it. I mean, I sound like a jealous person, but when that does happen, I'll have to laugh about it. It's like, well, you did it to yourself. You never do. You've been irresponsible. You spend money like there's no tomorrow, and then you're gonna be crying to me that you need money because you ran out of money finally. I mean, no offense, you can only blame yourself. And I think this is what's happening. We live in a society now of people who just don't want to grow up. I mean, most people say, "Oh, you're being a hypocrite." Well, yeah, maybe I am, but I still do go 40 hours a week to a job. I don't see these people actually going where do you work? Well, actually, I don't have a job. I collect money off the government or off my family. Well, that's really great. So that's a professional job for you, right? Yeah, it is actually. So, I mean, I hate to be that way. It irks me to know that there's that much irresponsibility going on in our country. Nobody wants to. Everybody wants to live the celebrity life, and not take any responsibility whatsoever for anything. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So it upsets me. If you haven't noticed, it really upsets me. I mean, I here I am killing myself working for a job, and you got people that you have to cater to because they don't know what it means to actually physically work. And my whole entire life is going to be spent on taking care of them. So even when I'm like 90 years old, I'll be still taking care of them because they're going to be incapable of, what happened to that. You pay into Social Security, and then when you reach, 59, is it 59 and a half or something like that? 60 years old or 70 years old. Maybe it's 69 and a half. When you reach 69 and a half, they're going to be your golden years that, all that money you pay into Social Security and your 401k and everything like that eventually is going to lead you into be able to enjoy yourself, and somebody else is going to, is going to take care of you. But no, you're going to reach that age. I'm going to reach that age. I'm going to be 70 years old, and these same people who are completely irresponsible are going to still be dependent on me at 70 years old to pay for everything for them. I mean, honestly, that's what's going to end up happening. You probably think, well, you don't know what you're talking about. No, this is what our future holds for us. I mean, I buy a lot of crap and buy a lot of shit, but I still take the responsibility. Like, I give my parents money every week because I live under a roof at my age. I'll be living there probably for the rest of my life or until they pass away. But I give them more than they were asked for. I've actually gotten to the point, which makes me feel good. I've gotten to the point with my parents that I say, how much do you want for it? Like, they're picking me up something to eat when I come home, even at like late at night. Or they're picking me something up if I'm too tired and I'll go to bed till like wee hours in the morning. Like tonight, I won't go to bed till 5 or 6. So I ask my mother or my dad, I say, hey, how much do you want? Hey, you're helping me out. How much money you want? It's like, no, you've already given me way too much money. We owe you money back because, I, in addition to giving tons of money, I also, give them, I pick up stuff for the house, like food or water. Like we drink this Penta water. It's really expensive. I'll pick up a case. It's like $30 a case for 12 bottles. So knowing that we all drink it, but they help me out. I help them out. I comp them for stuff they buy me. But, at least I feel good. They're actually telling me now, you don't need to give us anymore. You're giving us too much money. You're helping us out too much. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, like, why aren't you helping me even more? Like, give me, like me telling my parents, ask my parents, give me more at my age. But this is what our society consists of nowadays. People that are constantly wanting more than they already have. But they never worked in their day or life. They're not responsible. They're very irresponsible, and they're all being victimized. They're all victimized, all these people. It's gotten to the point, it's like, when is this nonsense going to stop? You have this with, this whole thing with Black Lives Matter. That's gotten out of hand. Minorities of all types being victimized in ways that are not true. We should kill the white people. I'm hearing that all the time now. They should all die. I mean, this is horrible. But this is what our society has turned into. Just whimpering babies. No one wants to take responsibility for anything. So, I just don't understand anymore. But, you know what, I could go on about that for another hour, and I kind of, didn't make any, trying to think, I didn't make any definite storyline, obviously, tonight. This was definitely trying to use this laptop to see, okay, when I need to use this, is this going to do what I need it to do? Is this going to satisfy the quality I'm looking for in doing a podcast? Well, yeah, I guess it will. This one on Apple now, they changed I use Audacity. It actually tells me how long I've been recording for, and it says 1 hour and 28 minutes and going. So that's pretty good. But if I come up a little bit more of an interesting dialogue or storyline, I will definitely pass it on, or I will do a show on that. But I haven't done one in a couple days. Just because also when I get home, now every other night I'll be doing for at least 30 minutes. I'm trying this thing I got from Amazon. It costs like $600 that helps you regrow your hair. It's this laser treatment that you can do at your own convenience from your home. And I'll make a report on that, but that's going to take a while to actually see results. I could take up to 6 months to actually see physical results. So, but it was the same kind of treatment that I was paying $50 a week, $200 a month at this salon that I did not like. But this I can do while watching TV or playing a video game or reading a book. I can do this stuff from my own home. So I like that. And, the cost will pay for itself because this unit you're supposed to use every other day. It's set up that basically it's, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's got a timer on this unit that you're supposed to do it for 30 minutes every other day. It's the same exact laser light that I was using before that's supposed to help regrow hair. But, again, you do it from your house. It runs for 30 minutes. It shuts off. If you have to get up in between, if you lift this, it's like a dome, helmet-looking thing. If you start lifting it off your head, or if it gets misplaced on your head, like if you move it a little bit, it will automatically shut off. It's got safety mechanisms. So it's really pretty cool. It is kind of expensive, but it's cheaper than the other solutions for hair restoration. So I'm praying it will work too, honestly. But anyway, folks, it is like a little over an hour and a half, so I'm going to call it a day and hopefully you enjoy what I talk about, like I always hope I am. And, hey, everyone, it's Thursday, so it's almost a weekend, and I'll be maybe doing a podcast, maybe not, because I got other things errands I'm going to get done during the week before Friday. So, and probably other concerts I can talk about. I have other events coming up at the end of this month and, beginning of next month. So, folks, I'm just going to sign off for now because I think I really don't have much to talk about, but I hope you enjoy what I do talk about. And I'll just keep it at a simple, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks again for listening to me on iWalter.